So at first today we'll discuss about comments in MySQL. So not in MySQL, in every programming language, using comments is a special thing. That means to have a more readable program, we need comments. So why we add comments? So at the time you are querying or coding, then you will know why you use some variables and why you use some functions. But sometimes after some day, if you look at years or a long time, if you look at your code, then you wouldn't be able to understand why you did these things to your code. And the other reason is when others are using or others are checking or seeing your code, then it will be easy for them if you add comments for some special at some special places. Okay, so that's why we use comments. So in MySQL we'll see how we can use these comments. So these are single line comments. So at first you see with the hash mark, it is the single line comment, and also for single line comments we can use this slash and star. This is so second one is an inline comment. So we can use these things if we have only one sentence or word to comment. And in multi-line comments, again you can use this star and slash. So here this is how you can use this multi-line comments. So we'll see an example. Here, so at first I am typing some things. These are not codes, and enter. So what will happen then? I'm going to have some error because when I did this, the MySQL execute these things. So but if I add this comment mark and do something, then I will not have any error, because the reason for that is so if this hash mark is in some sentence, then SQL understand or SQL identify this as a comment, and then SQL is not going to execute the things inside this comment. So we'll check this inline comment also. So this is also an comment. So we'll see how to add a multi-line comment. So here you can see these are comments. And to end this multi-line comment, again I can use the star and the slash. Okay. So we'll see some real example of these comments. Okay, here you can see select all from customers, and again this is a comment. So that's why we are just displaying the thing or select results in the SQL table. And here then we have to create a table named as stack. So here you can see we have in this table we have ID user, username, password and ID. So we'll see what will happen. So this table already exists. So what I have to do is again I'll drop this table. Okay, then run this one. Okay, then you can see query is okay and 0 rows affected. So what are the fields that this table should have? ID user, username, password and ID. So we'll see what are the things that we can see here. So but the only you can see in this table you have only one field. Why? What is the reason? Because these things are inside a comment, so we have commented these things. So if some things or some words or keywords or any description is inside a comment, then that means SQL is not going to execute these things. So they are going to just bypass the things inside a comment. Okay. So I think you understood the concept of comments. Next we'll go to grouped queries or group by clause. So why we need this group by clause? For example, think there is a table, and this table you need to get the average. So you can simply use this average aggregation function. So but think in a table there are think you have a table, think you have a shop, and this shop you have a table for customers and customers bills. So how many times the customer may be visit? So more than one times the customer may be visit. So then there will be more than one rows of records for each customer. So think you need to get the summation of the bills of each customer. So is it okay? It will be okay if you use this sum function to the whole table? No, then you need to get this summation for each customer. So that's why we need this group by clause. So this group by clause groups a set of rows into a set of summary rows by values of columns of or their expressions. What happened here is this returns one row for each group. So think that means for one customer there will be more than one rows. So if I did this group by thing to this table, then it will only return one customer or one row, one record for each customer. So using this we can reduce the number of rows in the result set. And the main reason for using this group by clause is to use with aggregation functions, as I told you earlier, good to get the summer, average, max, min and count. So these aggregation functions appear in the select clause and provide information about each group. So we can use this select statement. So for this select statement, this group by clause is an optional thing. So here we have this select. So this is a syntax for this group by clause. So how we can do this? First, use the select keyword, then give the things or give the fields that you need to get from this group by function, and also you can give the aggregation functions like sum, average, count, min, max, and then give the table that you need to get this information. And after that we can use this where condition also, and then use this group by function, and then you give these things as fields that you need to group the whole table. There is an order for this group by function. That means at first if we use in this group by function, then before this group by function we have this command select from where clauses. So when we execute this thing, before grouping these things or before grouping the table, the query is going to execute select from and where conditions. And after this group by clause, we can execute the things like having, order by, and all these things. Okay. Then we have this group by queries or the group by clause. So just go through these things. So here, for example, think there is a table, and this table you have amounts, that means maybe the salaries and the representatives. So in this table you may have more than one record for each representative. So if I write the query as select average amount, then what will happen? From orders, then what will happen? They will give the average amount for all of these representatives. So this will be this. So here, if you execute this query, you will have this. You will have this result. So then so if you need to see the average order size for each salesperson, or then what you need to do? Then you need to group by or the group this table by each salesperson. So this is how then you are going to write this query. Select representative, then average, give the average amount, and from orders then give the group by column. So what will happen now? Then they are going to give group by or give the average for each salesperson. So here the graphical representation, then what will happen when you use this group by function. So in this whole table we have these representatives and all these things. So if we use this group by function, that what they are going to do, they group this salesperson or they group the records of one salesperson together. For example, here we have this representative and this representative's ID is this. So we can see in each group we have all the details about one representative. So then this is a graphical representation of the things that will happen when we use the group by function. And after that, if you give some aggregation functions like average, then what will they will do? Then they are going to get the average for these each group, not this whole information. They are going to get the average for this each group. So this is how we can use the group by function and use the aggregation functions. So think someone will ask to get the range of assigned quotas in each office. So what we need to get, what are the things that you need to get the range? Range means the minimum value and the maximum value. So minimum and maximum are also grouped by aggregation functions. So what will happen here? If we write this query and add this group by representative office, then again they are going to group the whole table using this representative office. So then what are the things that are going to be in each group? Then each group they are going to be the records of each representative office. Then if we execute this min and max, then what will happen? Then they are going to get the minimum value and maximum value for each group. So that means for each representative office. So this will be the result of that. So here we'll do some example. So you need to use the group by clause with the status column as in the following query. So I'm going to run this query. So select status from orders and group by status. Then you can see if I write this query as this, then I'm going to have this status like this, cancelled. And at first we'll see the main query. Every details in the first table. Select all from orders. So if I select all, then you can see there are a large variety of these status, and you can see there are duplicated values. So now I can't see this each value or distinct value. So then I can't get a idea of each distinct value though. So then what I have to do? Then I'll use this order by group, and then you can see these are the distinct values. So what are the things that we can use by using this order by clause? We can get the distinct value of each group or each column. So then you can get these distinct values using another function. What is that? It is the distinct status. So I think you remember this one. Then to get the distinct value, again we can use this distinct status, distinct keyword also. So then here you can see the same results. So then what is the reason for using this group by? We can do the same things using distinct status. The reason for using this is not only get we can using group by function, not only we can get the status, distinct value, we can do lots of things like getting aggregating functions for each group and like this. Then we'll see how to use these aggregation functions with group by clause. So here, so the first thing is we are going to get the select status and also with the count all. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to select the status. I'm here using this thing. I'm going to check how many times its status appeared in my table. So how we can do this using this query. So we'll see this one. Okay, now you can see the count of each thing. So how many times this each status appeared in the original table. Okay, so this again we can do this thing using this group by function. And also we can use this aggregation function or to get the summation of each group. So here you can see we have the status all along with their order prices. So this, what is the aggregation function we used here? It is the summation, and here you can see this is how we can, if you need to give some name for these columns, not the sum price, then you can give the name by using this double quotations. So here what I have done, I am giving the summation of each price column a name as order price. So this name appeared here. And also with these group functions and group by clause and with the aggregation function, we can use this where clause. For examples, I only need to get the summation of price for this status shipped. So what I can do then, here I can use this where clause and filter the things or filter the status shipped. So now you can see this query only gives the status order price for status shipped. Then also we can use this having clause. So for examples, you need only to get these details, that means customer ID, item, customer summation of their prices only for the customers having the ID which are less than 5. So then we can give this clause in this having clause, and in having clause it comes after this group by function. And also here in this having up, and also we can use this having clause, and also we can use this order by clause. So here you can see after giving this having clause, then we can use this order by clause like this. So first I'm giving some conditions using having, then I am giving this order by clause to order the table using this customer ID. So here you can see I'm having this customer IDs which is less than 5. Okay, and but here you can see we don't have any order in customer ID. We can the customer ID, employee ID appears here, and also the ID2 appears here and here. Then if I need to order this again, I can use this order by clause after this having clause. So now you can see all of these things are ordered well. So here you can see the customer ID 1 together, 2, 3 and 4. So now you will think why we use having things or having clause for this. We can also, instead of using having, we can also use this where function clause. Yes, of course you can use this where clause, but the main reason for using having is for the things like this. For examples, here look at this one. Here we have status, count, from orders, and I need and I group by or I group this thing by status, and I need and I only need to get the results or the records which is count is greater than 2. That means when only if the status appeared more than 2 times in my table, then I'm going to have this thing. So if I use this where clause, what will happen? At the time we give in this where clause, they don't know about this count. Why? Because group by comes after the where clause. So when I put this in the where clause, where count is greater than 2, then you will have an error, because at that time the where clause doesn't know what is the count of each status. So that's why you are using this having. So why we are using having is having comes after the group by status. So at this point this table has status and count of each status. So now we can have this having function, or we can execute the having function, and we can check the condition. So I think you understood this. And here also see this example having so I need to retrieve the things which only the sums greater than this 60,000. So again I can use this having function, and here we are getting the sum of each price, and here in this group by at the time when the having clause execute, the table has already grouped the result set using this status, and they have calculated the sum for each group. Okay, so we'll execute these things. So first I'm going to get the count of every status regardless of without having any condition. So here you can see this gives the count of every status. Now I need the count of status which are only greater than 2. So now you can see we here in this result table we can only see the things or the counts of the status only greater than 2. And the next we are going to select all summations of these prices or total of these prices for each status. Then I am going to select only the summations which is greater than 60,000. So here you can see this. So here in this result set we can see only the totals of the status which is greater than 60,000. So now we'll discuss about decimal data types. So in SQL we can see many data types. So decimal data type is one of those data type. So the special thing of decimal data type is here we can give the number of significant digits and also number of decimal digits or the digits after the decimal point. So here we use this decimal data type to store exact numeric values in the database. Often we can use these columns to give money data in accounting systems. So to define this column here, this is how we can use this syntax. So when we look at into this syntax, here you can see the column name, and here give the column name. So where we use this data types, we use these data types at the creation of tables. So when you create a table, then at first you need to give a column name. So what is this? That means the field name, then give the data type. So here if we use decimal data types, then we can give the decimal keyword and two numbers, and we give these two numbers as P and D. So B is the precision digits, so the precision that represent the number of significant digits. That means how many number of significant digits that we can enter this column name. So the range of P is going to 1 to 65. So then we have D. D is the scale that represent the number of digits after the decimal point. So that means it says how many decimal points that our column or the field can have, and this range goes from 0 to 30, and in MySQL it requires that D should be less than or equal to P. So then decimal P comma D means that column can store up to P digits with D decimals. That means how to get the number of integer digits. So to get the number of integer digits, then you have to deduct D from deduct D from P, and the actual range of decimal column depends on the precision and the scale. So for example here we in this statement it defined the field amount, and the field is in the decimal data type, and this field has 6 digits, 6 significant digits and 2 decimal points. So how many number of integer points this field can have? Then to get the number of integer digits, then we have to deduct 2 from 6. So deduct decimal points from the significant digits. Then here in this, for this amount we can have 4 integer digits and 2 decimal points. So here in this example, so how this range goes? So we can enter 9999.999 decimal 99 to minus 9999.99 range. So this is the range. So we can enter any number between this range to this amount field. And here think we give this column name, or we declare this column name as this. That means we give the column name, then decimal, and we only give the significant number of digits. So what will happen? Then this one is equal to this one. That means we have P significant digits and 0 decimal places. That means then we only can have integer P number of integer digits, and there are no decimal points. And in addition we can use this syntax also. Then here column name and only the decimal keyword. So here that it means we don't have decimal points. That means decimal D is 0, and since we have not defined the P, then that means the value of P is 10, because by default the value of P is 10. So for this column name or for this field we can give 10 integer numbers or 10 integer digits. So we'll see some example. So first we'll drop this table materials. Oh. Then we are going to create the table materials. Then you can see this cost column has six 1, 2, 3. Then you can see this cost column has 6 digits or 6 significant digits and 4 decimal points. That means how many integer numbers then it can have. So integer digits this column can have is only 2. Then I'm going to enter some values for this column, for this table. Then here you can see here we have only 2 integer digits and we have only 2 decimal digits, but here at the last record you can see we have I have entered 5 decimal digits. So we'll see if we select all these things from this table, what is the result we are going to have. So now we can see, if you look at in this one here, since although we entered 2 digits decimal points here, they have added some zeros to the end of these decimal points to get a 4 decimal points. And here if we go to this last record, here we only have 4 digits, although we entered 5 digits. And also here you can see there is some round up. Here 7, and but this is 8 because this thing or this query automatically round these things to round this 5, round up this 7 to 8. Okay, then we will see what will happen here if I enter more than 2 value or more than 2 integer points. So here we have the error out of range value for column cost. Why it is out of range? Because here I have entered 3 digits. Or I have entered 3 digits to the integer place. Okay, that's the reason. So we can enter more than the given number of decimal places to the decimal points. Then what will happen then? Because of this, then this will after that they will round up these things, but the integer points they are not going to round up, then they are going to give an error. Then we'll discuss about this uppercase in MySQL. So you know, I think you already learned this in MS SQL. So here why we use this uppercase function, we use this uppercase function to convert lowercase characters to uppercase. So alternatively you can, instead of uppercase, you can use this ucase function also. So this is this ucase is a synonym for upper. So here you can see the syntax, and this str is the string that you need to convert it to uppercase. So for example, if you use this, write the query like this, select upper Homer, then the result will be like this. So here you have some examples. We'll run this later. And the lowercase also. So what we can do using this lowercase? Using the lowercase we can convert uppercase character to characters to lowercase. So alternatively, you can use this lcase function, which is a synonym for lower. So this is the syntax again, and str is again the string that you need to convert it into uppercase. And this is the result. Okay, so we'll see these things. So the first thing is I'm going to run the select upper to Homer. So then this is the result. You can see the Homer is simple, but the result is in capital. And then I'm going to select the color from the table, but the color should be in capital. Then you can see I selected distinct color from the table, fill the color. Then here you can see these things are distinct, and also you can see all these letters in the capital. So then we also can run this query to see the difference between upper and lower. So here this is the original name of the name from people, but if when we use this uppercase, then you can see in this uppercase we have all these things in these capital letters. And the lower also we can see here, instead of upper, now I am using this case lower. And you can see here the original name, difference between the original name and the new name. So next we will see how to do calculations using tables. So using these tables, for example, as an example, take this table. So using this table, I need to do some calculations. The first thing I need to do is double the prices of all product and find the new prices. So what is the product price? Here you can see in this column. Here you can see the product price. Now what I have to do, I need to double this price. So we'll see how we can do this. So here this is the ID. Then what I need to do, I need to double the product price. Then I have to, for this, I multiply this product price by 2 and have the new price. And then I am calculating the value demo. So here you can see the selected ID. Then this is how we can do the calculations using this. And this here new price is the new name I have given to this new column. And the next question is to calculate the total for each ID. You have to multiply the price with the product weight. Okay. So to calculate the total, so then you have to calculate the total for each ID for the new prices. So what is the new price? So this is not the new price. Then to get the new price again, I have to multiply this product size by 2. So to do this again, I'm doing this calculation. So this time I am getting the product ID multiplied by 2 as the new price, and to get the total, then what I have to do, I have to multiply the product ID by 2 and again multiply this by product weight and get this as total. So then this is the final outcome. And finally we have to select the difference between the new price and old price. So what I had to do, I had to deduct all price from the new price. So how I can do this? Here as shown here. So first I have to find the new price and I have to deduct the product price from that. So now you can see the difference and new price and the ID. Okay, so this is all for the today's lecture. Then go to LMS. Here I've uploaded this lecture, and here you also have some practical to do. Okay, do these practicals by your own. And if you have any questions, you can contact me or put a comment in this video. Thank you very much.